first up, we get you breaking details coming in from Sydney, where a mass shooting happened. This was at a Jewish party that was happening at the Bondi beach in Sydney in Australia. 10 people unfortunately were butchered at Sydney's Bondi beach. Bloodbath at Jewish Hanukkah party that happened. All of this was captured on camera when a bystander disarmed the shooter. It was even on camera that the attacker, who was armed, was on the prowl. Israel has slammed Australia over the massacre. Israel has said that Australia failed warnings. Israel even went on to say that its intifada globalized, where mass shooting in iconic Sydney beach was witnessed. The shootout that happened at a Jewish meet where there were over 2,000 revelers. Let me cut across to Shivani Sharma, joining us live with more details of what has come out as far as who the shooters were, where they hailed from, how they went on to target the party, and why was any sort of intel ignored.
So, Aisha, the initial reports tell that there were two shooters who could be seen shooting on the people, the Jewish community specifically, who were there at that beach. They were celebrating a festival. It was the first day of the Hanukkah festival that happens to be an 8-day long Jewish festival. And right now the police out there and the multi-agency response has been drawn into action to save the lives of the people, the maximum lives that can be saved. Around 11 people are still injured. 10 have lost their lives, including one of the gunmen also, and one policeman has also been killed in this particular mass shooting incident that took place around 6:45 p.m. Australian time. And the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, he says that he's not only shocked but distressed by the kind of shooting that has happened. The identification of the shooters is still going on. There are no official confirmations, though the Australian media has been reporting that one of these shooters has been identified as the citizen, as the one who was living in Australia and Sydney itself. But, you know, the details will be brought out very shortly, Suesha. But yes, this is a horrific incident, and especially this has been targeted on the Jewish community that had assembled on the Bondi beach for this religious festival, and around 2,000 people had gathered at the time when the shooting happened. And we are getting a lot of inputs. Some videos are also showing that one of these shooters was stopped by a bystander, by a man who was there, and the identification still goes on. People are being evacuated from there, and especially it was also seen that these shooters, they were not even sparing the elderlies and the women and the children. They were just shooting blindly wherever they could. So they were there with a plan, and a sinister plan, that they had to take as many lives as they could. So this was a targeted attack, and mass shooting took place on Bondi beach in Sydney, where the people had gathered specifically for a religious festival that happens to be a Jewish religious festival.
Right, Shivani, I request you to stay on with us as we want to come back to you for more information on this. Meanwhile, the pictures that have come in so far, and let's quickly give us viewers a sense of what really happened in those critical 10 minutes. Literally how eyewitnesses have described it, that it was bang bang. That's how it literally appeared, like there was random shooting that these two gunmen carried out. Now the details that have come in so far of how this was a Jewish party that had happened at the Bondi beach. Remember, Bondi beach is a very famous tourist destination in Sydney, and there you see how the gunmen were cornered. In fact, some reports that also suggest that one of the gunmen who has been shot down. Another video that India Today accessed, where one of the gunmen was actually taken down by a man who went on to overpower him and then snatched his gun. Powerful weapons that they were using, and 10 people unfortunately have lost their lives. Take a closer look at these pictures.
Fucking bash him!
Police come in, they are urging people to stay away from the area. A media officer is en route to the scene.
Fucking bash him!
For the moment, I also want to cut across to Amit Sarwal, who's joining us from Melbourne. Amit, if you have been able to speak to the local authorities in Sydney or even the cops, what really is the focus at the moment? People are scared, but in terms of nabbing down that gunman who is still being identified, what more are you picking up?
Yep. So there are two things going on at this stage. One is the identification of the gunman. Just wanted to correct you that 9 innocent civilians died and one was the gunman. So total count is 10. 6 or 8 people are in serious condition, including the other gunman. One of the gunmen has been identified as a local Naveed or Narveed Akram. He is from Bondi, and the officials, I think, speaking on condition of anonymity to media such as ABC, have pointed out that his house is being raided by police like 20 minutes ago. The other thing that's going on in terms of security is that the Prime Minister
Le mec
has
est hyper courageux.
called senior ministers for the cabinet security committee meeting, which includes the immigration minister or the home affairs minister, Tony Burke, as well. So I think this is going to be the highest priority and highest risk as it now it is being considered as a national security issue.
Oh, yes, indeed, Amit. And if you could throw more light on how Israel has reacted, saying that Australia failed warnings while they have criticized this shootout. Also,
Yes.
in a way, blaming that this could have been prevented.
Yes. So I think for the last 1 or 2 years, Israel has been blaming Australia, particularly Albanese's leadership, that they have been a bit soft on, security issues, particularly issues affecting the Jewish community in Australia. There have been a number of cases of vandalism, including, the arson of local Jewish synagogue in Melbourne.
Le mec est
So
hyper courageux.
that criticism has been there, and I think this particular event with, when 9 innocent lives have been lost, Israel is kind of moving into blaming Albanese and the security agencies, the local Jewish community leaders have also blamed. If you look at the Twitter chain of events and response, Australian Jewish Association has blamed the local government of not taking the minor threat seriously, which has escalated into the bigger one, which we saw today at Bondi Beach.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And indeed horrifying, because you'll be able to explain to us, Amit, that while this is horrifying for Jews because their religious gathering was targeted and there were 2,000 of them, but even for
Yes.
those residing in Sydney by and large, because Bondi Beach is a very famous destination where a lot of the families on a Sunday are usually there to spend time, to like spend their weekend, and for such a place to be targeted by gunmen is
Yes.
very horrifying.
It is a horrifying tragedy at the moment because this is the first night of the Jewish holy festival of Chanukah. That means and it's a weekend as well. So more and more people are on Bondi Beach. But people who are not familiar with Sydney's suburb locations, Bondi is a Jewish
Hyper courageux.
suburb. So a lot of affluent Jewish, population lives there. So a lot of their family and friends would be there. And I wouldn't be surprised if people from Israel are also holidaying at the moment due to the holidays. So weather is turning out really well in Sydney at the moment. This is the start of the Australian summer. So a lot of people would be going to the beach and other beaches as well. So this kind of creates a security threat, not just for Bondi, but also for other locations, especially Melbourne and, Gold Coast and other places where families especially, would be holidaying and planning for a weekend on the beach.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And more reports coming in of how about 19 people are injured. 13 of them have been taken to the hospital. These were injuries that were caused due to shattered glass and shrapnel. And also to understand that the police has said that about 50 to 100 shots that were fired in such time.
Yes, so a lot of people said that the initial firing that took, I think they used shotguns. If you can look at the make and model of the guns in the videos, so they just indiscriminately shot people, and some people felt it was the sound of the firework because sometimes during festivals people use sparkles and other fireworks, and that's why people couldn't react initially. And but once they started reacting, children, women, and men, they started
Le mec est
running
hyper
away
courageux.
from the scene, right? So there was kind of a bit
Oh,
chaotic if you can see the videos. But if you look at some of the other videos, you will see that how bystanders stepped in and saved the day. Basically, one tackled one of the shooters, and he got his weapon in hand, but he did not shoot the perpetrator. So this shows you the rule-abiding Sydney siders, the hero, who can challenge such perps. Also, just to bring to your notice, the Australian National Imams Council and Council of Imams in New South Wales has already condemned on behalf of the Australian Muslim community. As I just told you, that one of the perpetrators has been identified as a local Muslim youth, and investigations are still on. So the community has come out and urged everyone to remain vigilant, exercise caution, and support one another during
le
this
mec est
challenging
hyper
time.
courageux.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, who has called an emergency meeting of Cabinet's National Security Committee in response to the deadly Bondi attacks. Anthony Albanese is receiving briefings from all security agencies, including the Australian Federal Police. Let me take this to my colleague Shivani, who's gathering further details on how Anthony Albanese is taking stock of the situation. Shivani.
Swesha, what we are learning through the sources is that Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is now undertaking a meeting, an emergency meeting with the Cabinet Security of Australia, where the Australia Federal Police and officials of multiple agencies are looking into what is happening right now. And the priority remains that the whole location, the Bondi Beach location in Sydney, is sanitized and people are being cautioned. There are messages being sent to the people that they need to remain vigilant. Not only this particular locality, but multiple other important pockets within Australia are being put on high alert and are being sanitized. There are reactions also coming in Suesha from multiple countries, I beg your pardon, including Israel, European Union, the United Nations, and many other countries have sent out their messages condemning this particular attack that has happened, especially targeting the Jewish community in Australia. And it is quite similar to what had happened in Israel. Remember in October 2023, where a gathering of Jewish community was targeted barbarically. And a similar shootout incident is now being seen in Australia on the Bondi Beach, especially on the first day of this festival, the Jewish festival, for which the gathering of around 2,000 people had gathered there. There was no discrimination being made by these shooters about the children, the women, the elderly, but they were just blindly shooting on this gathering. So there is an emergency that has been called out in Australia, and the Prime Minister is holding meeting, and this is the highest national emergency in Australia, where the Australian police along with the multiple agencies are now on high alert, not only on the Bondi Beach where the people are being rescued, but also on multiple other locations inside Australia. People are being given out warnings that they can approach the police if they have certain footage, if they have any
Shivani, even as we stay on the top of the story, let's tell all our viewers that on the right of our screens, we are showing the driving license of the suspect, Naveed Akram. Now, he has been identified. The police is thoroughly, in fact, establishing the crime scene, where there have been several recoveries that have been made from the crime scene itself. Amit, who also continues to be with us on the broadcast to give us further details of this man, Naveed Akram, who is allegedly a local. He resided in Sydney. He is the suspect. Now, they are slowly getting closer to establishing his identity. Amit, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, if you're able to hear me, do give us details of how the police is slowly narrowing in on identifying Naveed Akram. What is the information that has been gathered about him? So while we understand that one official document, which is his driving license, has now been
Yes.
recovered
So
by the cops, but he is a local. Where did he live? You're saying that even his residence that is being raided.
yeah, as I said, he lives in the locality of Bondi, which is one of the suburbs of the Sydney suburbs, basically. And so police are still raiding his place, and they would be targeting, who others were involved or how many other people were involved in this planning or maybe execution. One is already dead, one is in serious condition. So it's not known if Naveed is in serious condition or is the dead one, but if his house is being raided. So that's the only information that police has so far provided. We have seen driving license, being put on social media and other places, but police still has not confirmed. So we will wait till they officially confirm. But yes, it is known that his home is in Bondi, which is currently being raided. So officials have told this to local media, speaking on condition of anonymity. And I think Chris Minns, who's the Premier of New South Wales, along with Prime Minister Albanese and Home Minister Tony Burke, would conduct a media conference soon to reveal everything. I think this time they are involving AFP, which is Australian Federal Police, and the ACO as well. So, as I said earlier, this is going to be at the highest priority level because they would like to find out who, not just who did it, but who are behind the planning and even financing of this attack.
Right. Shivani, I want to come back to you to understand whether Naveed Akram was on an Australian passport or he was on a PR, how long he'd been residing in Sydney. Are they also trying to establish his links, trace his phone calls? As we understand that the police is really cracking down. Number of suspicious items, some reports suggest, that have been recovered from the vicinity itself. The police is marching up and down on foot, patrolling the entire area, blocking off the area, and most importantly, the advisory that has been put out, people have been asked to stay indoors.
Swesha, see, three major things are happening right now. One, the high security zones are being identified. In fact, the whole country is on a high alert. The Prime Minister is conducting meetings. Second is the investigation into the perpetrators. What was their connection? What was the larger circle? Why they were doing this? Are they associated to certain terror organization? Naveed Akram is the one person who's been identified as one of the shooters. Is there a larger group and conspiracy that's being investigated? The third very important thing is sounding and alerting the citizens across Australia so that no further loss of life happens, no further danger is there to all the citizens inside Australia. So certainly all the things that have been recovered from the scene of shooting has been taken into custody by the police. The Australian police is investigating, trying to sanitize the whole location. They are trying to ask for more videos from the people who were there, present there. They had seen. So eyewitnesses' responses are being recorded. They are being asked for any mobile videos if anyone has, so that this investigation can be taken further. So on multiple fronts the work is being done in Australia right now. So Esra, one is investigation. The priority remains to save the lives, to rescue people who are undergoing treatment in multiple hospitals out there. More than 20 people are now injured, and police has also said that the figure of casualty can also vary because it's too early to identify and to check what is happening on the Bondi beach since this shooting happened at around 6:45 p.m. Australian time. And the third one is alerting the citizens across Australia, investigating why this happened and who were these perpetrators, why they shot these people, the Jewish community particularly. So Naveed Akram is one of the names that has come, but officially the declaration still has to come whether they have got the passport of this particular
Right.
man. Initial reports are suggesting that he's a local.
Right.
He resides in Australia, and how is he connected to the other conspirators? That is to be checked, and who are these people? That also needs to be checked.